Josh, what did you make of the start that you guys had tonight on both ends of the floor, just from the defense and then the ball movement to kind of put them away early?
Yeah, I mean, it's important to not take a team lightly like that. Undermanned, they got guys that are, fighting for contracts, fighting for minutes, and that's a dangerous team to play. And I thought we did a good job of playing the game, not the opponent, and came out the right way, got off to a good lead, and then, kind of maintained that for the rest of the night. But I thought we did a good job of executing both ends of the floor. Our game plan was well executed, and I thought we took that spirit, pretty early in the game. Defensively, and we kind of ran with it for the next 36 minutes.
And you personally seem to kind of personify that. You were very physical, very aggressive early. Do you feel like when you're kind of shot out of a cannon like that, it makes a big impact on the group?
Yeah, I mean, just trying to pick my spots, and when I feel it's time to be aggressive, be aggressive. If it's not there, not forcing it, just making the right read. And I think same for all our guys. We've got a smart, unselfish group that puts the team first in every situation. So, I just found that, I got going early tonight, and other guys did as well. And I thought 1 through 15, however many guys checked in, everyone contributed, and that's what you need in a night like tonight.
Josh, you just mentioned picking your spots, and in LA we talked about just you adjusting to this new role, and that you're kind of doing some things that maybe you weren't used to your first 2 years, being floated around, the cutting, everything, but picking your spot specifically, like how hard has that been, choosing when to go to something you like while trying to be this different type of player, and just what went into tonight, finding those spots and when you found them?
Yeah, I think it's just taking, what the game gives you. If you go in, with a plan of doing this or that, it can be easily disrupted by what the defense does. So you can't plan for what the defense is going to do to you. And same as tonight, I just took what I had and what they gave me. And early on, it was at the rim, and I was finding cuts and layups. But it's not always going to be like that. Defenses will play you in different ways. And to your point, I think just continuing to be active, off the ball, cutting, kind of floating around that dunk area has been good lately. But also being a screener, if a team puts a 5 on me, and if they're not a traditionally great defender, just being able to be a screener for guys like Shea and Dub, and setting them free, and they can, attack downhill and, maybe sit in the pocket a little bit. So just finding different ways to make an impact. But as you said, it has been a different role, I guess. But it's a credit to our team and how teams are defending us. We've got so many weapons, all through our roster. So I think we're all adjusting, and hopefully it's at its peak, in a month or 2 months from now.
Andrew Schleck with The Athletic. Mark talked about you finding your pace early in this game. What's that process been like for you this season? It's probably easier to find your pace with the ball in your hands, but what's it been like for you to kind of find your pace with playing more off ball this season?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I've played on the ball my whole life, so that comes more naturally, I guess. But, playing off the ball, it's something, every good team has to make sacrifices. And I think with the group that we have, it's kind of what I've had to do. And, we're first in the West, so we're doing something right. And, as I said, just trying to do what I can to make an impact, and whether that's handling, whether that's playing off the ball, whichever one it is on that night, I'm happy to do. And we've got a deep team, a lot of guys that can handle and make plays, and it's a luxury to have. So, as I said, it has taken time to adjust to kind of being more off the ball, but it's getting easier, and we're starting to find ways to attack it and attack different ways teams are, throwing different looks at us.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Cason had a big night tonight. What have you seen from him just as a teammate and his work behind the scenes?
Yeah, great guy. Works hard, and I think he's been a very solid, piece of this rotation from day one. Defensively, he usually gets that assignment in the second lineup with their main guys, and offensively very efficient. Plays a pretty simple game, but gets it done. And I think for a rookie, his impact on a pretty successful team up to this point has been very big. So credit to him. Works hard. Great guy, and deserves nights like tonight.
You standings watch. You kind of mentioned you're first in the West. So you watch obviously your games, but what other teams are doing? Those top 4 teams.
I don't actually. I kind of see it, on Twitter and social media, like things that are happening with the standings and how it changes all the times. But I haven't really paid close attention to it. It fluctuates so much, and there's 20 games left in the season. So I haven't really been paying attention to it.
That's something you'll do later. I mean, when you get closer or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it will naturally happen. As there's few games left in the season, you kind of look at, who you're going to play down the line. So I haven't yet. There's still, 18, 19 games left. So that time will come.
Nick Gallo, KC Thunder. Lou, you guys have been in these types of games before where the other team's banged up. What did you think of the way that you guys had laser focus through that, didn't get distracted by personnel, and got the job done from the very outset?
Yeah, like we've been saying all year, it's a 0-0 mentality. It don't matter who we go against. We just got to go out there, compete, and play hard and try to win the game, and that was our approach tonight.
And I wanted to ask you about Gordon. Last 2 games, he has 10 assists. Seems to really be kind of finding a nice groove as a playmaker for everybody else. First of all, what's it been like having a guy like that come in and be a setup guy for other guys? And why do you think he's gotten so comfortable?
Nah, it's been good. I mean, he's been in the league for a long time. He played a lot of games, so it wasn't too hard for him to adjust. So he played a lot of basketball, and especially us, I don't think we too hard to play with. So I'm happy we have him here, and he's gonna keep doing great things for us.
Lou, you were in a similar position your rookie year to sort of where Cason is now as a rookie who's like fighting to be in a rotation on a playoff team. What exactly stands out to you the most about what you've seen from Cason this year?
He's tough. Plays hard every time. We always know what we're going to get out of Cason. And, honestly, I think he's been doing good. I don't think he's fighting for a minute, honestly, but he's been doing his job, and he's only getting better.
What you got a game like this? Do you try that you overmatch them? Are you trying to get your work in early so you can take a rest the fourth quarter because you're so deep into the season, or are you just playing like any other game?
No, just playing like any other game. That was our approach. Whatever happens, happens, and if it gets to the third quarter where we up so much and coach make this decision, it's on coach, but we always ready to go.
What about when you get somebody on? There was a point in the third quarter into the fourth. It was kind of like late in the third, feeding frenzy. You guys were like trapping the ball, getting some steals, going the other way. Does that kind of feed off each other where you get one, you get another one, you get another one? I mean, it's like your defense was feeding your offense.
Yeah, that's just how we play. And then the intensity we got, like I said, we wasn't really playing a scoreboard. We were just working on our stuff and playing the way we play. So, honestly, definitely it touches everybody to be aggressive like that defensively, and which is good.
Andrew Schleck with The Athletic. Mark talked about how you left last season going into the summer wanting to increase your efficiency. What was that process like? And, you're over 40% from three so far this season, top 50 and made threes in the NBA this season. What was that process like? And then, how happy have you been with the results so far?
It wasn't too hard. It was just watching a lot of film and eliminating the bad shots and some of the crazy shots I was taking last season, and just adjusting but the biggest thing was watching a lot of film, just knowing where my shots comes from, and not forcing anything, just letting the game come to me, and it's been good.
Hey, you watch film like by yourself? You watching with somebody else?
His name's Fez. He's with me much of the time in the summertime, and we go at it every day.
Thanks.
Nick Gallo, KC Thunder. Cason, in that kind of second half, as you guys have this big lead, what did you think about just the way that you guys were able to kind of keep the pedal down? And even as guys were coming in different roles and positions, you had more time kind of on the ball, that you guys were able to maintain that style of play?
Just turn the knife. That's something that we always talk about later on in games. Don't give a team hope. And, we got to finish the game the way we started.
You guys have seen a little bit more of Gordon, and I wanted to ask you, he has 10 assists over the last 2 games. What you've thought about the way veteran former All-Stars come in and really tried to seem like maybe find his rhythm by setting guys up?
He attacks the paint well, and when he attacks, he finds the open guy. And I feel like that's been big for us.
Cason, I think back to that. I think it was the end of the third quarter. You and Lou kind of pressed up on the ball and got that steal. I just wonder, because you guys are kind of in similar modes, the way you guys play the ball. Just what has it been like all year? Kind of playing defensively off a guy like Lou.
It's great just knowing that. Sometimes I got to match his energy and he'll match mine as well. So he was just telling me, "Yo, let's get up for one possession and see what happens." So we got up and we got good results.
With Mark, we've just talked about your evolution as a player. Obviously, to start the year, you were one of the best three-point shooters in the league. That efficiency has kind of still remained. But he in talking about the next step, he's kind of mentioned you as maybe a second side guy. Just what the next step might be for you offensively. And in that fourth quarter, you had some chances to have the ball in your hands, create, break guys down off the dribble. Just in a game like this, just what's that like? Having that opportunity, and I guess how do you view that next step of your game?
It was great just being able to see what I'm doing well and what I need to work on this summer, Right now, I just got to finish the year strong in my role and be the best in my role this year.
They keep a game like they're getting ragged. I know one time, coach called timeout. Somebody didn't get back and cover up a three-point shot, but you guys were up so big, but it didn't really get as ragged as it could have gotten.
Instead of playing the scoreboard, we play the minutes on the clock. We gotta be an uncommon team, and that's what comes with it. Playing with a big lead, you gotta learn how to sustain it.
Your technique, it's like very obvious that you're a student of the game whenever it comes to defense. Who are the guys you sort of like modeled your game after or watched a lot of film of growing up?
Growing up, I was watching like Kyrie and Westbrook, so not so much defense, but just having the energy and knowing that everybody wants to score nowadays, and who's going to be that one to stop them. I feel like that was more of a challenge than trying to score on everybody.
And then a small follow-up, have you always been like a defense-first guy? And then Mark has compared you to like defensive backs like Ed Reed. Do you have a big football background as well?
I did play football. I was pretty good, but I feel like that does help, with the physicality and, knowing how to make plays on the ball.
Offensively, you've had a smaller role this season, but you've maintained your efficiency. You make it look easy, but what has that process been like for you?
Just taking what the defense gives me. My teammates have been finding me with open shots, so just knocking down the open shots, and when I have the ball, learn how to create for my teammates and myself.
And then just being coached by Mark, so far this season, what's that been like for you?
It's good. I feel like he's been putting me in good positions and good situations at the right times. Not to expose what I'm not so good at, but to show everybody what I am good at.
Pre-game, you and Wiggins were going back and forth about dunking, and then today he got a poster in game. Did you know he could get up like that? And what did you think whenever you saw that?
Yeah, I told him, I was like, you got to start dunking the ball in pre-game workouts. So I'm gonna be on him about that.
Anybody else? Last one.
Cason, talk a little bit about your shooting performance tonight. 9 of 14, season high 22. Just talk about how you were feeling it out there tonight.
It started early in the game. I knocked down a few shots, and once you get confidence, I feel like the basket opens up a little bit. So just knowing that, and I play more minutes. So all that put together led to the performance I had tonight.
Nick Gallo, KC Thunder. Mark, before the game, Cason used the phrase that you guys needed to be the first team ready, have that mindset. Given kind of the state of where Memphis was, what did you think about the way that your team was able to actually have that in a meeting with a team that was really banged up?
Yeah, I mean, you see games every night in the NBA where a team's banged up or a team with a lesser record knocks off a team with a better record. And so I never take for granted when we give that kind of energy output. And it was from the jump. The first group did a great job of establishing a tone in the game on the defensive end of the floor, first of all, and with our pace offensively. I thought those guys were really on the gas. And everybody that went in the game, especially in the first half, stayed to that.
There's sometimes where you guys will make threes that are tough ones, but did it feel like, especially early, all the ones that you got were really in rhythm, sustainable looks?
Yeah, I thought our attacks were, for the most part, pretty good. I thought, when we moved it and played inside out tonight, we got great shots, at the rim, some cuts, some transition, and obviously a lot of threes, but a lot of quality threes.
Was Josh an example that looked like he came out really scoring, rebound, assisting? Seems really aggressive tonight.
Yeah, I thought his pace to start the game, that whole group was energetic, but he especially was on the gas to start that game, and it really amplifies his playmaking when he plays with that kind of force, because now all of a sudden he's collapsing the defense, and his vision and his instincts can take over. I thought he was competing to start the game defensively, so I thought the whole group did a great job of setting a tone, but he was definitely a catalyst in that group.
when you got a big lead like that, do you have to kind of make sure guys don't wander? Because you had the game in control pretty much the entire way, just to make sure they kept them doing the things you want them to do, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we want to be an uncommon team, and that is how you play if you're an uncommon team. You got to play the next possession in front of you, independent of what the score is, and we've made a pretty good habit of that throughout the season and in the past few years. But it's hard to do it. You have to overcome human nature, and I thought most of the night we did that tonight.
Mark, I know you've been getting asked about Josh all week. He had a relatively good week, but I think back to that first quarter. Obviously, it's one thing to have him, getting adjusted to floating around, cutting the stuff you've been trying to get him to do. But the couple drives where he kind of moved guys out the way with his shoulder and just finished at the rim, just how reminiscent did that feel? Maybe the player that people got used to in his first couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, I thought all week, and at different times this season, it hasn't just been this week. He definitely was downhill tonight. He played with great force. They had smaller guys on him. He can use his strength and his size in those situations, not only to drive and finish, but like I said, it amplifies his playmaking because it collapses the defense, and that's where he can really ignite us. And I thought he found a nice balance in the first quarter, in his first stint especially, of playing with great force and then taking what the defense gave him.
More of a niche question, but I think we talked earlier in the year just about what might be the next step for him, and you kind of disarmed the idea that maybe that would be creation, maybe he'd be more of a second side guy. I just wonder how much of a welcome sight that is to see him, maybe putting the ball on the floor more in that fourth quarter, having the room to do that, and breaking guys down off the dribble.
Yeah, I think part of that is seeing how he's developed with the second side stuff and with the secondary playmaking and attacking closeouts. He makes really, really good reads in those situations. And so if he weren't making good reads in those situations, we wouldn't be putting the ball in his hands like that. But he's kind of checking that box a little bit. And so he's intriguing with his playmaking. The thing that's most intriguing is he's going to compete. And so he's going to get himself on the court. So that's a player that's going to be out there. And so it's worth the investment, to give him the ball a little bit. It's going to be a huge part of his summer, in the off season as he, finishes his first year. He's going to have to be in those situations and get comfortable in those situations. It'll only help his closeout play and his secondary playmaking, the stuff that he's already doing now. But I was very impressed with him tonight, in terms of the gas he played with and the balance he was able to play with, despite having the ball in his hands that much.
Intersect with the Athletic. We talked about Lou a couple of days ago, but I'm just curious your thoughts on just like the percentage of his shots. Like he's shooting over 40%. I think he's top 50 in made threes this season. Is there anything specific you would attribute that to? I mean, obviously we've talked about like shot diet, but is there anything else specific about this season for him?
I mean, what's underneath the shot diet is a committed player. He's very committed to taking a step forward with his efficiency and doing what he needs to do on offense to help the team be successful. He walked into Oklahoma City out of the summer with that mindset, and he was driving that car. That wasn't us, with a sales pitch. And so he did a great job of reflecting on he had positive career to this point. I mean, he's been a very good player, but reflecting on where he can improve, and then implementing that and executing it, and now sticking with it. And he's been a huge part of why we've been as good as we are offensively, because he's played a very, very tight role. He's made great decisions with his shot drive reads, at the rim finishing, and he's really complemented our team out there and still stays aggressive inside of his role. And so I give him a lot of credit. He's done it all year, but like I said, he's a huge part of why we've had the offensive season we have. He's been excellent.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted your thoughts on Hayward and just tonight, and then just his overall getting more comfortable with the team.
Yeah, I was saying before the game, I always try to evaluate what trajectory a player's on. Are they on a positive trajectory or a negative trajectory? And he's on a positive trajectory right now. From I think the Laker game, he had some nice pop. Even in the late part of that game, we were down, but those minutes were valuable for him. And then he continued that momentum in Portland, played really, really well against Miami, especially defensively, and played well again tonight. So he's on the upswing, and we're excited to keep seeing what he can bring to us.
Following up on Cason, he seemingly hasn't had very many of those rookie moments or rookie mistakes. Can you just talk about what the most impressive parts have been about him this season? Because he's really just, you guys are on a marathon, and he's just kind of kept pace with a lot of your guys.
Probably that. He just has a maturity about him as a competitor He competes every night. It's gone under the radar because of all the other things going on with our team. But this is a very young player that's able to play 20 minutes a game, almost 18 to 20 minutes a game, and a pretty significant role guarding pretty significant opponents. Despite a lack of experience, he just has an unbelievable competitive maturity to him, and gives us a lot of confidence to stick with him when he's not. I thought in the Miami game he played. He was off base in the first half in terms of what he normally brings. But you go back to him in the second half because of the body of work he has as a competitor and how much trust he's built as a competitor. And like I said, with the creation stuff, he's going to be on the court. He's going to earn his way on the court. So now it's like, all right, what else can he do out there for us? And he's another guy all season, been on a great trajectory. He's done a great job.
Anybody else? Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.